Hey there, so it's been a little while since I've last done anything on this channel or anything like that, and the reason for that has been very, very simple, and I'm sorry that I didn't explain this before, but basically we moved house, is what it is. On the 3rd of January we moved house, and we haven't had internet until right now, today, so that's why you're seeing this video now. But up until today there hasn't really been much to say or do because we've just been working on stuff, setting stuff up. Most of that is out the way now. We've got everything that we need kind of set up. Obviously we have internet now, so I can resume videos and resume streams, and that kind of brings me into what I wanted to talk about, which is just kind of where this channel is going to go, like, going forward, because it's been a little while since I've done a Payday 3 video, and I've said publicly that I will not be doing any more Payday 3 videos going forward. That is still true. That is especially true now that the most recent Dragon Files video has been officially published, and we now know with certainty that Jacket is going to be the next character added to Payday 3. I know a lot of people like Jacket. If you like Jacket, great, good for you. Personally, I do not think Jacket fits Payday very well. I don't think he's a character that makes a lot of sense to be part of the Payday gang. On top of that, I've heard some things about how the character pack is going to work and what's going to be included in it. Not a lot. I've heard it kind of through the grapevine. It might be accurate, might not be accurate. For obvious reasons, I'm not going to say what I've heard, but I'm not hugely impressed. I'm not particularly excited about what's coming with the Jacket character pack, because obviously I don't really care for Jacket to begin with. And if what I've heard is true, I'm not very excited about the character pack itself. On top of that, there's all the other stuff that's coming in this year. Armour rework, Armour 2.0. On paper, great, love it in theory. I have major concerns about shield armour and how that will be implemented. I feel like it undermines the very, core design of the game itself, and there is no way that shield armour can be implemented that will not fundamentally be broken, because the way the heist layouts are designed is with a shit ton of cover everywhere so that you can recover your armor chunks. Adaptive armor, while still breaking the design a little bit, stuck to the design by still having chunks. Shield armor is gonna not have chunks at all, basically, so it's going to kind of ignore a fundamental part of how the heists are designed. And if shield armor becomes meta, which I assume it will do because it's going to be the strongest armor bar none, in my opinion. Even if it only takes one shot per chunk, that alone is going to fundamentally alter the way the game plays if you have shield armor equipped. It just will, because suddenly armor as a resource is irrelevant, and it kind of just, like I said, undermines the whole core game design up until this point. I think it'll be fun to play around with, it'll be exciting to try out and stuff like that, especially with the new chunk system where you can mix and match chunks. That'll be cool, but I think shield armor will not fit. I think it will not work with the current design of the game, and it will be something that will just fundamentally alter the game. And if future heists start getting designed around shield armor, then people who like the other armor types, like myself, I like the default armor, and I know a lot of the long-time players who have been around since day one, a lot of us prefer the original armor because it fits with the game's design better. It's more fun to play around. I know that's a controversial opinion. I know a lot of people think the normal armor is unfun and it doesn't fit the game at all, but if you actually spend a lot of time playing with it, you can kind of understand where they were coming from and the design philosophy around it, and I think it works. You don't have to play passively like a lot of people say. This is gonna double up as my kind of countering to a lot of the armor opinions that people have. I personally think the normal armor type works well for how Payday 3 is designed. Yes, it is more optimal for you to play defensively and sit and wait out assaults, but you don't need to at all. The cop AI only really shoots you if they can see you and if you're standing in front of them. If you're ducking around corners, if you're playing kind of aggressively, you can play aggressively. I play aggressively all the time. If you've watched any of my streams, you'll see I play with one chunk normal armor and I play very aggressively, and it works because the game is designed in a way that normal armor works. Right? You don't need to play defensively, and shield armor is just going to be a very aggressive armor, which you don't need to replenish. So it's just going to completely nullify both existing armors, a lot of the map's designs up until this point, and if future maps get built around shield armor, it's going to destroy the game, I think. The skill update, there's a skill rework coming, we know about that. I'm not super excited about that either. Personally, I think Edge Grit and Rush are okay. I think they could do with some changes, some new ways of getting them, maintaining them, draining them. I think a drain, like an additional drain kind of like modify for some skills would be cool. Like, imagine if there was a skill where if you have Rush and you sprint in a secure area, you lose Rush twice as fast. Sorry, you lose Rush twice as fast, but guards don't hear you. I forgot to add that part. But yeah, like there's a lot of cool stuff they could do with skills and like new ways that skills interact with the buff system. But I think what they're probably going to do is just delete Edge, Grit, and Rush and return to kind of like a more Payday 2 style of skill system, which a lot of people want. I personally do not. I love the Payday 3 skill system. I think it has a lot of flexibility, like loads of the skills are viable. You don't really need to run any skills to play on Overkill. You really don't. The game is easier with skills, obviously, and some skills are meta, and I think meta skills are an eventuality that should be expected. You don't need to use them. You really don't. Like, Payday 3, you can run whatever build you want and be pretty okay. Like, as long as the build works and the skills are compatible with each other, you can do whatever fucked up shit you want and it will work. I like the current skill system, I just think it needs refining, it needs more skill variety. Not more skill variety, but like more skill options, right? More unique skills, more cool skills, more skills. I just want more skills, that's it. I want more skill lines. We haven't had a new skill line in a while. That's what I'm trying to say. And obviously new ways for skills to interact with buffs, that's what I want as well. But it looks like we're probably not going to get any of that. They're probably just going to scrap Edge, Grit, and Rush, implement a new skill system where it's just flat increases and kind of like every skill has a different timer, and I'm not a huge fan of that. It's kind of micromanaging, which I know a lot of people in the Payday space like to throw around the word micromanagement. I think a lot of them don't know what that word means, especially when they point to the skill system as being micromanagement and then say we should have Payday 2 skill system, when Payday 2 skill system is the definition of micromanagement. Every single skill has a different timer that you need to be aware of, and you needed mods to keep track of all those timers to be optimal and like efficient with how you're activating those skills and using them. That is not what I want Payday 3 to become. I don't want every skill to have a different timer. Like, we kind of already have that with Precision Shot, and Precision Shot by itself is just an ass redesign. Like, the way they redesigned it sucked. But if every skill has its own buff icon and has its own timers, it is going to become a mess, and I do not want that. So all of these things combined, jacket being added, which I'm not a huge fan of, shield armor being added, which I think will break the game, skills 2.0, and overskills. Overskills are basically just an excuse to re-add perk decks, right? Like, I think the core principle behind overskills is cool. I think an upgrade path to overkill weapons is neat, but we know exactly where this direction's going to go, right? They're going to re-add stuff like the injector from Payday 2, the flask from Payday 2, and they're going to implement them as overskills and overkill weapons, overkill utilities, I guess, whatever you want to call them. And that's how those things are going to be re-implemented into the game, I believe, is what they're going to do. The flask and stuff like that are kind of cool, but in Payday 2 it kind of just turned into a press button to live, like, feature. Like, especially with the injector was just press button to not die. And if they do that with Payday 3, it's kind of going to become a bit of the same thing, and I'm not a fan of that. I want there to not be a press button to live feature. We kind of already have that with consumables, right? Pick up armor plates, press button to not die. That is kind of what it is. And they've kind of done the same thing, and I'm not a huge fan of that either. I think the consumable system needs to cool down and needs some kind of animation of you using the consumable so it's not instant. There needs to be more balance to it. And that's my problem, right? A lot of Payday 3's recent changes and future changes are not based around the current game's balance or design. They're based around building a new game, and that's a game that I don't want to play. To put it simply, I do not want to play whatever Payday 3 is going to become in the future. From what they've laid out, like, I personally I'm not a huge fan of Payday 2, and that's the direction it seems like they're going, that's the direction it seems like a lot of other people want the game to go. I am not a fan of Payday 2. Whenever I've tried to play Payday 2 just for the sake of playing it, like by myself, I get bored within minutes. It is not fun to me at all, and if that's where Payday 3 is going, I'm out. That's it. I'm out. So if there's going to be no more Payday 3 on the channel, oh, by the way, if you subscribe to Payday 3 content and you don't want anything else, now's your chance to unsubscribe. Been a good run, was nice having you, see ya. What does this mean for future content? I will be pivoting. I will be going back to variety stuff, which is what I've always kind of done. I've always said that Payday 3 will never be the permanent focus. I've always said that I will eventually go back to variety stuff. Now's the time, 2025, new start, new me, new channel. return to the past, return to variety content. That's what we're gonna be for the future. We're gonna be doing whatever. And speaking of doing whatever, Jabroni Brawl. So you've probably seen I've been streaming on this channel Jabroni Saturday. Every Saturday we host a community night in the Discord server. Our community day, like whenever kind of I get up and boot the server up, and we just played Jabroni Brawl for like a few hours, and it's a lot of fun. I would highly recommend joining in for those if you want to, because, or if like you've checked out the streams and it looks fun to you, like all the instructions to join Jabroni Saturday are in the Discord server just every Saturday night, except obviously we've had to delay Jabroni Saturday for the last few weeks because no internet, but now that we're getting internet back, I can boot the server back up and we can Jabroni Saturday again. So Jabroni Saturday will be continuing, that will be a constant throughout this year. Like I said, if you want to take part in that, join the Discord server. All the info's there. There's probably some other stuff that I can throw out there, but I'm forgetting. I bought a domain. I now own stupidcat.uk. I made a YouTube post about that though. But yeah, no more Payday 3. Back to variety stuff. Internet is back. I'm back. There will be more streams. There will be more Jabroni Saturday. Wow, we're in good hands. We've got a bright year ahead of us. So if you want to stick around, stick around. If you were here for Payday 3 and nothing else, now's your chance to get out. Thank you very much for joining me for this once a year channel update. I say that, I only do like a channel update like once every few years. I guess you could consider the old like New Year anniversary videos to be channel updates, but they weren't really channel updates. They're more just, here's what's happened over last year, here's what's going to happen this year. I guess that's kind of a channel update. I'm kind of just rambling. I'm going to end the video here.